Hi there, my friends. Welcome again to Indian Story Read Along. Today we are going to read a book that I got, maybe 20 years ago. No, 30 years ago. In 1991, I got this book. It's called The Mouse Merchant. The story is called The Mouse Merchant. This is from Amar Chitra Katha, Tales of Wisdom. Let's get started. In the city of Varanasi, that's up north in Kashi, a young man was once on the lookout for a job. It so happened that the royal treasurer, accompanied by a friend, passed by. The friend says, "The king values your work. The treasury is overflowing with riches. What is the secret of your success?" And he says, "Initiative and enterprise. I'll explain what I mean. Do you see that dead mouse?" And the friend says, "Yes, but..." And the treasurer says, even if he has no money, a young man with initiative could just pick up that mouse and start a business. The friend starts laughing. A dead mouse as capital. That means as the startup cost it takes to run a business. Ha 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 ha. The young man stopped and gazed at the dead mouse. It sounds like an absurd idea, he's thinking. But the treasurer must surely know what he's talking about. He's standing there thinking, but what can I do with it? Who would want to buy a dead mouse? Look, that kitty's coming along. And then the man goes, "Hey, pussy, come back." And he says, now I know what has attracted him. "My friend, will you sell your mouse to me? I'll pay 1 paisa for it." And the young man says, "The mouse is yours. The first coin I've earned. But what can I do with this small coin? The treasurer had said one must have enterprise. Oh, I've got it. I must find out if there is a demand for something and then arrange to supply it." Okay, then he goes there and he goes, "Please give me 1 paisa's worth of gur." In Tamil, that's vellam or jaggery. The next morning, the young man filled a pot with drinking water and went to the outskirts of the city. And he's thinking, I'll wait here for the flower gatherers to return from work. In the forest, workers were busy collecting flowers. It was late in the afternoon when they finished their work and began returning to the city. "Oh, it's so hot and I'm so thirsty." Another one says, "There won't be any water to drink until we reach the city." And the young man is there and goes, "There they come. Here they come." And he goes, "Brother, you must be tired. Have some water and a little gur. Sugar will give them energy." And then they say, "Thank you, son. May you live long. All I can give you is this bunch of flowers." And the young man says, "Thank you, uncle." He goes, "How refreshed we feel after drinking that water. May these flowers also make you happy, son." And he says, "Thank you." Each of the workers drank some water and gave him a bunch of flowers in return. They say, "Bring us water tomorrow as well, my friend." And he says, "I will." The young man took the flowers to the temple in the city. There he sold them. No better place to sell flowers in India than a temple. And they're all saying, "Here's the money, a bunch for me too." And he's saying, "In a minute, sir." And he says, "Now I have 8 copper pieces." With the money he earned, the young man brought a big water pot and a larger quantity of gur. The next day he went back to the forest. "Today you may have a little more gur." And they're saying, "May God bless you, son." Later, he went even further away to the fields where grass cutters were working. And he says, "Is anybody thirsty?" And one man says, "You won't find anyone here who is not thirsty. Give me some water, son." "Brother, you are kind to us. What can we do for you in return?" And he says, "Nothing at present." And they say, "Okay, but don't hesitate to ask us when you need our help." A month passed by. One evening, the young man was returning home when a storm broke out. Everywhere, the wind blew down leaves and dry branches. And he's thinking, if there's money in a dead mouse, there should be money in these leaves and branches too. The next morning, he went to the palace garden and spoke to the gardener. "You look worried, uncle. Can I help you?" And then the gardener says, how can you? The garden is littered with branches. And the king is expected any moment now. I don't know how to clear the mess before he comes. And the young man says, I'll help you if I can keep the fallen branches. Take them, son, only take them away soon. And he says, I'll go and get some help. I'll be back in a minute. The young man did not have to go far. He sees some boys playing outside the garden. And he says to them, would you like to have some good? And the children are like, oh, good, certainly. He goes, then come on, boys, I'll give you some. They're all like, give me some, and me too. And he says, everyone will get his share. And then he says, would you like to have some more? They all say yes. And he says, but you must earn it. We are ready. Tell us what we should do. He takes them into the garden. Then come with me. You must collect all the fallen branches and heap them outside the garden. And they say, that's easy. Quickly, they gathered up the fallen branches and formed a long human chain to pass them on to a place outside the garden. And he says, you have finished. Here is your reward. Delicious good. Thank you. Thank you. You know, two things I got from this story is that every time he gets some kind of money, he has helped people. And he has kept his promise to whoever has helped him. And also the second thing is that he gets lucky a lot. So watch, he's going to get lucky again now. Just as the young man was wondering what he should do next with all those branches, a potter came by and stopped his cart. Is that for sale? And he's like, yes. Here are 16 copper pieces. Please help me load my cart. And he says, yes, of course. And then the potter says, now I have all the wood I need to fire the pots specially ordered by the king. The young man then went with the potter. He's riding on top of the wagon there. He went to the market. People are talking. Have you heard? The horse dealer will be coming tomorrow. Another man says, yes, I hear he will be bringing 500 horses to sell. And the young man's got an idea. That's useful information. Thanks for letting me know. Hurriedly, he went to the grass cutters. Friends, I seek a favor from you. They say, at last, tell us what we should do. And then he says, I want a bundle of grass from each of you. And then they say, we are 500 in all, so as many bundles of grass will be delivered to you tonight. And he says, and I want you to promise that till tomorrow afternoon, you will not sell anyone any grass at all. And then they say, you are our friend, and we will do what you ask without question. See, if you build strong relationships with people, then they want to help you. If you've shown that you're honest and you help them, they'll also want to help you. Late that evening, they say, you see, we have kept our word. And he says, I shall forever be indebted to you. The next morning, the horse dealer arrived with 500 horses at the outskirts of Varanasi. He's saying, strange, no one has come yet to sell me grass for my horses. He went to the market. No grass in Varanasi? Where have all the grass cutters gone? I better go further, near the fields. And he goes, grass at last. Young man, will you sell all this grass to me? I'll pay you well for it. The grass is yours, sir. Good. Then help my man load the cart. Look at that. Here you are, sir. 500 bundles of grass. And then he goes, here's your payment, 1,000 copper pieces. Look at his face. 1,000 copper pieces. I can put these to good use. A day later, he's in the marketplace. And he says, why is it so quiet here today? Is anything the matter? Someone says, everyone is away making preparations to receive the boats that will be arriving tomorrow. He's thinking, boats arriving tomorrow. An idea struck him like lightning. He bought new clothes and then went to hire a carriage. Send the carriage to me early tomorrow morning, he says to that man there. Here's some money as an advance. Very early the next morning, the young man rode in style to the river harbor with 2 friends. And he waited to receive the visiting merchant. He was, naturally, the first to greet the merchant. "Welcome to Varanasi." The merchant says, "I'm happy to meet you, sir." The young man says, "I want to buy all the merchandise you have brought." And he goes, "Right, it is a pleasure to do business with you." The merchant quoted a price to which the young man readily agreed. And then the young man says, "I need time to arrange the payment. Meanwhile, here is my signet ring as security." Then the young man set up a canvas shelter and waited. He says to his friends, "When the city merchants come, bring them in with due courtesy." At daybreak, 100 merchants came to the harbor. They're saying to the merchant, "My friend, we have come to do business with you." And then he says, "I'm sorry, sir, I've already sold everything." "Sold everything? When? To whom?" He points over there. "To that young merchant over there." And they're all thinking, "He's not one of us, and we can't let any new persons into our trade, or we'll be ruined." So their solution is, "Let's buy him out. We'll make him an offer he cannot resist." And they're like, "All right, let's go to him at once." So there he is. "Welcome, gentlemen, welcome." "Well, gentlemen, have you a proposal to make me?" And they say, "Sir, we would like to buy a share each of the total merchandise. We'll pay 1,000 gold pieces each." Woo! He's thinking, that will make it 100,000 pieces, since there are 100 merchants here. And then they continue, "Moreover, we'd like to buy your share in it too." And he says, "No, no." And then they're saying, "But we'll pay handsomely, 1,000 pieces each." And he goes, "That will make it another 100,000 gold pieces. Hard to say no to that." Having agreed to the deal, the young man returned home. And he's thinking, I will still have a big amount left after paying the merchant, and I owe it all to the treasurer's wisdom. To show his gratitude, he went to call on the treasurer, taking half his profits with him. "Sir, permit me to present you with these coins as my humble Guru Dakshina." And then he goes, "Guru Dakshina? Guru Dakshina is something that you give to your guru as a gift when that person, he or she, has taught you something valuable to your life." And the treasurer says, "But I haven't seen you before. I haven't taught you anything." And he says, "Yes, you have. I came by all my wealth in 4 short months simply by following your teaching." He then told the treasurer the whole story, starting with the dead mouse. And then he's thinking, this young man is extraordinarily clever, just the person I would choose for my lovely daughter. See, he got lucky again. Maybe he wouldn't even have a daughter. So look, he married the young man to his daughter and gave him all his family estates. And he says, "The goddess of success smiles on those who show initiative. May you always be so fortunate, my son." Now, I'm going to tell you something. Initiative is very important, but you also have to think about all the other things that make up somebody who is wealthy or who gets a lot of stuff. They're very lucky a lot of the time. A lot of the time they're born into wealth, like their father or their mother is very, very wealthy. So if you're trying hard at something and you're observing and you're doing your best, just keep doing that. Don't worry about that you're not succeeding. And look at all the other factors around whether you're succeeding or not. All right? So this is a really fun story. And of course it had to take place like 400 years ago, because this would not make any sense today. There's no way anyone would buy a dead mouse from anybody today. Okay, so we're going to see you again on Indian Story Read Along next time. Thanks for joining us, and think about subscribing if you like this story.